Hi everyone, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and today I'm going to combine some stencils and do some masking and make a fun Big Hugs card. So these are some new stencils from the July release at A Colorful Life Designs. There's actually two sets here that you can choose from, and these are postage stamp shapes, and these are masking stencils. So these are part of the Marvelous Mask line, and this is the 4.5 inch that I'm using for this particular one. So she decided to offer multiple sets regarding what sizes you may want for the types of cards that you create. So here's a photo of the finished card to show you the direction that we're going, and as you can see I used some other stenciling on the inner portion of that postage stamp shape, and that is also another new stencil. So to start, I'm just going to use these magnets and hold this down, and then I'm also going to line this armor stencil over it in a bit. But first of all, I want to make sure I get all that interesting definition on the edge of that postage stamp. Now, I probably should have done myself a favor here and used pixie spray, temporary adhesive. So the magnets do a pretty good job holding it down, but what I didn't realize is that it kind of shifted on me a bit. Because as you can see, there's not a lot of overlap for it to kind of hold it down. So this is where I should have used pixie spray, because what happened is I ended up not being even on my panel, and I ended up having to kind of cut the panel down and off of the card base when I had originally intended on working directly on a card base. So that's how I remedied the mistake. But yeah, in this case, I would probably use pixie spray just so it doesn't shift on you, especially because I think the reason it shifted was because I layered this extra stencil on top of it to complicate matters. So I wanted to do the initial, kind of subtle ink blending in the opening on the postage stamp, and then come in with some more rich color of it. And these are all Catherine Pooler mini ink pads that I'm using, and I'm using my blending brushes from the Rabbit Hole Designs. So I'm just kind of putting down these cool colors, and then I will also add that really pretty purple color into the mix as well. So I'm working through these three colors, and then when I remove everything is when I'll realize the error of my ways and that I should have used the pixie spray. So just getting this color down nice and rich, and pull these magnets back to reveal this gorgeous design, which I'm really happy with, except for the fact that it's crooked. So you can see I was working right on a card base. So don't be like me, just do that extra step. I was just being lazy and didn't want to put the pixie spray on there. So my solution here is to just cut it down. So I'm using these stitched edge rectangle dies from Paper Rose, and I'm still going to leave a little bit of a white border, but you can see I'm kind of kicking it at an angle so that it's a nice even border all the way around my ink blending. And that's going to correct the fact that it's crooked. So then I'll just have to, attach that panel onto a different card base, and then I'll use the card base scrap for something else. So here I'm shopping my sentiment book here. I have this Big Hugs die. It's really cool. It has the little tittle there that I put on my little mint tape to keep it from running away on me. But I have the shadow layer and I have the word layer, and I'm going to match the color of ink to the ink blending that I did. So the way I'm going to do this to start here is I'm going to mask off a line with this mint tape here, and this is a way to kind of do two separate colors and match perfectly to the ink blending that I did on the card. So I have the purple color for the top. Now you could also do the ink blending right on the word part of the die, but I felt like it was easier to do it in this case on the shadow layer, just because there's less little delicate bits, and I could not worry as much about kind of bending the letters or accidentally tearing the paper. So now when I'm done fighting with this, I'm gonna line it back up right over the line and then do some ink blending on the bottom. So this is a fun way to get a nice straight line and a separation of color. See, look, I just need I need a new piece. That one was done for. So I'm going to come in when I'm done fighting with the tape and do the ink blending on the bottom to get that pretty teal look. And then the nice white letters will really pop off that colorful background. So this is just a fun option to customize your die cuts. So if you're in the market to kind of batch a bunch of sentiments and have them ready to go, but you don't know what colors to do, then you could always do it in white and then customize them later to match your specific card. So that's just another option for you. Now here I've got my little tweezers here, and I'm going to attach this word die cut to the background I oftentimes use micro dots. I don't know what got into me. I normally fear the liquid oozage of the glue. It's usually not my favorite, but I was feeling bold that day or something. I don't know. But I used the Barely Arts liquid glue and my tweezers here just to line this up on the colored shadow layer. And then I will add the little tittle on top of the big. Make sure this is nice and straight. It's kind of moving around on me. But I guess that's a benefit of the liquid glue, is you do have a little bit of wiggle room to adjust it if it's not quite where you want it. Using my little jewel picker to put down the tittle. And look, there's the oozage. See, guys, this is why I'm not a fan. Anyway, I'm going to add this panel directly to a card base. And there's my hair in the frame. Sorry about that. Must be reaching over my desk looking for something. But I have some tape runner here. I'm just going to attach this. And this is an A2 size. So US A2, so 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. And with the die cut edge, it does cut it down slightly smaller, so there's an additional white border on there. And I'm just going to use these little foam strips to pop up and give some dimension to this sentiment on the front of the card. And I do get these thin foam strips from Amazon. They work really well behind any like sentiment strips or really thin sort of sentiments you might have for your cards. So if you're in the market for these, I've had this pack for, I don't know, many, many months now, and I've still never even made it through one pack. So it's a really good price point. Just going to remove the little backer on all of this. Obviously, another option, if you don't want to deal with little fiddly bits or don't have foam tape, if you have fun foam, you could use that same shadow layer die cut and just cut it right out of fun foam, and then you would have even dimension all the way behind it to pop it up. So that's another option. And here I've got the liquid glue out again and my jewel picker, and I'm just going to lay down some of these iridescent sequins in odd numbers in a little smattering across the front of the card. So these new Marvelous masks are gorgeous. The postage stamp edging is really fun. But in the shop, if you aren't familiar, there is actually a whole line of these Marvelous mask sets of stencils. There's all different shapes, some like animal heads, some more geometric shapes and things like that. So be sure to check that out. I will link the whole collection of Marvelous masks, if I remember to do so, in the video description box below, so you can check out the shop and see all the other options. And do remember my coupon AmyFan10 if you shop, and you'll save 10% on your complete order. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.